Okay, these are my stats. Um, you know, um, this is actually my faith-based character. Um, I don't have a dexterity-based character, and I didn't feel like making one, so I just, you know, basically just changed my faith character into a dex character, and, um, you know, I put points into faith just enough so I could actually use Golden Vow. But if you were just going for a pure dex build, of course, you just throw those points into something else. Either more health or endurance to wear, heavier armor. But, this is just what I went with. And I don't have any of the health increasing talismans. Because I never bothered collecting them on my faith character. So I didn't use those, but that's probably what I would use if I had them. But instead I just use the spell effect duration one. I think it's called the Old Lord's Talisman. You get it in Fair Missoula. So I decided to use that since I really didn't have any other talisman I wanted to use. Yeah. So using the Nagakiba with Stormblade, Ash of War on it, I decided to use the Nagakiba because it's a really long katana. It's got really good range, and I figured I wanted to give it a shot because I really haven't used katanas in PvP. And I know that they're good, so I figured it would be a safe weapon to try out a Ash of War that I didn't know anything about. So the reason I even used Stormblade is because I got killed by it once, and that was like the first time I've seen anyone use it in duels. So I figured I'd give it a shot and see what it's like. I kind of like it. My only issue is that the cast time is a little bit slow, but it's still it's still on the faster end, but it's still kind of slow, especially because of the travel speed. It doesn't travel very fast, and also it doesn't go very far either. I think Beast's Roar probably travels further than it. And also, the actual sword swing that happens in the animation doesn't have a hitbox on it. At least it doesn't seem like it. I've had like 2 or 3 people try and parry me out of the Ash of War, and it didn't seem to work. Maybe they were just mistiming it, but from what I've been able to see, it hasn't been parryable. This match is extremely laggy and terrible, and somehow I managed to kill him. I didn't have the Finger Severer equipped, so I couldn't send him home. I have Flame Grant Me Strength, but I rarely use it, and I don't even use my flask either all that much. But I have the tier that increases status resist, and the one that decreases damage reduction. That's what I have on it, but I hardly ever use it, so it's really not that important. The best tier setup would probably be Crimson Bubble tier, and I don't know, maybe Dex Knot or something. So, but I just didn't want to use any of that because I don't really care too much about it. But yeah, Stormblade's pretty good. It comes out fast enough to be able to, punish other Astros of War, and, requires good spacing. Now, The problem I have with it is the lack of a hitbox on the actual sword swing. To me, that was a problem. But once again, I don't know if it actually does. It just doesn't seem like it to me, anyways. So maybe it does, and I just wasn't hitting people with it. But to me, it didn't seem like it had a hitbox on the sword swing. So another problem I have with it is the actual hitbox of the wind tunnel, essentially, is quite small, and it's easy to miss people, and so you'll see me try and free aim it here, and on some occasions it'll look like it should hit, but it doesn't. So I don't know. It's a bit weird. It doesn't seem really all that consistent, and it doesn't travel very far either, sadly. So, like right there, that looked like it should have hit him, but it just passed right through him. So, I don't really know what's up with that, but with the stats I've got, it can do like 500 damage. Depending on what another person's using, of course. But like right here, it's hitting for 300, which I mean is still okay. I think he's got like a defensive thing on. So I think that's why it's hitting for so low. But yeah, this guy's Bloodhound Step, Swarm of Flies, Rotten Breath, bleed user. So, I'd give him props for not healing though, but I just really don't like what he's using. And I only kill him because it's a bit laggy, or it's really the only reason. So, but yeah, all in all, I'd say it's not as good as Beast Roar, but I think it's like just slightly worse than it. So, I think it's definitely worth trying out, seeing what it's like. Once again, the travel speed is, quite slow. And it makes it really hard to free aim, because it's like I'll aim it where I think they're going to be, but it just won't get there in time, and so it'll just miss. So it made it really hard to free aim it, but I think if I used it a bit more, I could get better. That right there, if the sword swing had a hitbox, that would have hit him. And this guy right here, I just sent him home. I'm not going to deal with max poise, dual Anspur Rapier, Bloodhound Step user. I'm just not going to do that. This guy just gave up. I don't particularly know why, but they did. So I don't know. I thought that was strange. Maybe it was laggy for them or something. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, I really like using the Nagakiba. It's a fun weapon. I don't really... I never have bled anyone using this, though, which I'm totally fine with, because I'm not really a fan of bleed builds anyways, so if that's what you're trying to go for, then that's definitely it's not the way to go about doing that. He tried to pull out the pocket Placidusax, but luckily I was able to hit him. So, but yeah, what I really like about the Nagakiba is, because it's so long, it's really easy to outspace people, especially with shorter weapons. So, it's really easy to punish. Like that right there, that looked like it should have hit him. Once again, it looked like the sword swing just passed right through him, so I don't think it has a hitbox. Especially because this sword is so long, you know, it's like, it definitely looked like it should hit because the sword is freaking, I mean, it's just massive, so it's like, I don't really understand why it's not hitting. If it just, so that's why I'm thinking it doesn't have hitbox. You know, Stormblade it's pretty good for catching people out of panic rolls. That's another good use for it. I mean, that's how I got killed by it initially, is because I rolled too early. I saw the startup of the animation, and I rolled, and then I got caught out of it. So that happened to me, and then I was like, okay, well, I want to give it a shot and see what it's like, how effective it can be. Definitely not something to use just out in the open. It's definitely something you would want to use after punishing someone. I'm still trying to use it out in the open to see if it can be good whilst free aiming and that kind of a thing, but I didn't really have any success with that. So I think it's definitely something to use for punish. It also causes a lot of stagger when it hits, but it doesn't seem to affect poise. So I don't know. I think that's odd. Because I hit someone with really heavy armor later on, and I hit them with the sword, and then I hit them with the Ash of War, and it wasn't enough to break their poise, so I don't know. Maybe it does poison damage, maybe it just doesn't do enough. But, you know. I should have sent this guy home, and I really was considering it, but I decided to, you know, let things play out and see what happens. And I regret it deeply. I will say one thing that always throws me off is people just spamming R1. That it always throws me off because I'm just used to people not doing that. So it always kind of shocks me and ends up getting me killed when someone just starts spamming R1, because, you know, I expect people to throw out an attack and then expect the roll to come out and then try and punish, but, you know, so I just don't ever expect people to just stand still and spam R1 like this guy does. So just die. You know. Yeah, this fight I hit him 2 times and he's almost dead. And I felt really bad. So I wanted to give him another shot, and so I just, you know, tried to signal to him to heal, so we could actually have a more engaging fight than him just dying instantly. So I mean, it didn't really help him all that much, but he does get me below half, which I think is good. But yeah, it's just very unfortunate. He went for that Ash of War, and it locks you in a long, it has a long recovery, and so I just, you know, punished him with that. In this fight, I made a really dumb mistake at the end. Me and him were basically both one-shot, and I messed up, so. But I think all in all, I played pretty well. I'd go for the Ash of War, which was dumb. Should have just hit him. Yeah, I really want the hitbox on that to be a little bit bigger. Yeah, we're both one-shot, but mess up. I got impatient and I went for something that I shouldn't have, and it gets me killed. Right there. I think maybe if I started the attack early, it could have hit him, but I didn't. So he caught me out of the air. This guy, he switches to the shield talisman, and I hit him, and it does like 200 damage. My swing does, yeah. And he roll catches me with a fully charged heavy. So yeah, this guy's pretty good. Yeah, once again, it's just like it doesn't have enough range, and it comes out a bit too short. Like right there, I aimed perfectly, but it just it didn't reach him. So I wasn't too happy about that. This guy, I sent him home too. He tries parrying me a lot, and it just gets him killed, but he doesn't want to, take responsibility for that, and so he decides to heal, and that isn't something that I'm okay with. So as soon as he started healing, I gave up trying to actually fight him, and I just became focused solely on trying to get him to heal, so I could get enough distance to kick him. Because I don't want to fight people who heal. I'm not going to encourage behavior that I disagree with. So I'm just not even going to engage with that kind of thing at all. So goes for it immediately. Start running. Kick him. No, thank you. Not a fan. If you're gonna, try and parry something and you mess up the timing, and then you go for it again and you realize, hey, I can't parry this, you still keep going for parries, that's on you. So yeah, that's always upsets me. But yeah, I think I did a fairly good job with this. That right there, I managed to free aim and hit him because he tried using his Ash of War there, so I was able to hit him out of it. Right there, I got him with it while he was recovering. Right here, he tried to do some reverse backstep into me, but I just killed him with the Ash of War. This guy's using Giant's Flame incantations, and I was trying to get that to go off, and I did, but I messed up the timing on my roll, and it caught me. Luckily I was able to hit him with that, but I think I maybe could have killed him if he didn't have a Crimson Bubble Tear, because I would have gotten him around the same amount of health that I had, so we both would have been pretty low, but Crimson Bubble Tear just saved him. So I'm starting to become less and less of a fan of Crimson Bubble Tear. Most high level people use it though, so it's not anything really that anyone's complaining about. It's just, I don't know, every now and then I find it kind of annoying, especially when I'm not using it, because then it's just like they have extra health than you. It's like, okay, it's basically if you're not one-shotting people or doing massive amounts of damage, then it's basically a get out of jail free card. Yeah, it's like, oh, you're okay to make a certain number of mistakes, and when you're not using it, you can't make as many mistakes as they can, which so that's mainly the reason why I'm not too big of a fan of it. I did use it quite a bit though when I'm doing my incantation builds though, mainly because I hardly ever wear armor with those, and I don't hardly ever use an actual weapon, so I'm relying solely on incantations, and sometimes the cast speeds can be a bit slow. So I never felt too bad in those kinds of circumstances. Once again, getting me with the spamming R1. Never expected. But that's the end of the video. That's all I've got to say.